good afternoon. It is Robin Raskin from the Virtual Events Group, and we're here live at IMEX talking tech and really taking a temperature over spending the past 2 years kind of locked in our rooms depending on tech for our very existence, and now emerging and looking at how we will use tech moving forward. And I'm sitting here with Luke Bilton from ExpoPlatform. I've been watching his work through the entire pandemic on, wow, that guy's smart and knows to start drinking in the afternoon.
Cheers.
So Luke, he's on a different time zone.
Yeah.
It's that New York accent.
It's really late in London.
There you have it. So I want Luke to tell you about ExpoPlatform and what you're doing, because it's quite unique.
Yeah, sure thing. So ExpoPlatform is we describe ourselves as being a smart event company. Well, smart events and 365 community is what we do. Like everyone else, I think through the pandemic we developed lots of virtual functionality, and obviously the pandemic was a massive accelerator of that type of technology. Everyone's become a lot more comfortable with remote work and remote ways of communicating. But really where we're focused on is how do we take all the learnings and all the tech that's been developed through the pandemic and use it to enhance live events, live in-person events. I mean, we still do a lot of virtual and hybrid stuff, but really our focus is on how do you add value to the in-person experience. So that's what smart events means to us. It's about how do you increase the value of the event to the visitor, to the exhibitor, and ultimately to the organizer.
So give us an example of what a smart live event might look like.
Yeah, sure. So if you take an exhibition like an IMEX, for example. So before you get there, you want to be able to plan better. See which exhibitors you want to meet with, which ones do you match with, products which might be of interest to you. So and that for me is all about better product discovery. I think you can compare a large exhibition. You could compare that to Spotify, where you've got 50 million songs, and most of them aren't going to work for you. But what Spotify's great at is creating this curated playlist. So I think that's a massive opportunity for the events industry to turn like a sprawling show. Personally, I don't really like the idea of serendipity. I know some people say that serendipity is a great reason to go to shows, but personally, I think serendipity is great, but curation is even more powerful. So that bit, so making your event a lot more efficient and harder working is one application. It
certainly helps you justify it to your bosses.
Yeah, totally. And then the other, where I think you can see like a massive return, is around leads. So in lots of the case studies we've been doing, we've been seeing that exhibitors are getting 250% more leads from using our technology than if they were just to go and just exhibit and scan people as they landed on their stand.
It's amazing. And this thing it still sticks in my mind. So Luke did a graphic, writes beautifully, by the way, and did a graphic. Attendees are going to stay at what attendees are, maybe a little lower, maybe back to normal. Exhibitors, they're not going to pay more for a booth than they do now. Never mind the sustainability. But the growth, you said, in that chart would be in digital revenue.
Yep, absolutely.
So there's lead gen, and do you consider that ultimately revenue, or?
Yeah, potentially. That to me is the massive opportunity there. Is all of these touch points around a show. Some of the analysis we've been doing, we've been seeing that around 50% potentially of the leads can come from being immediately before and after the show together. So just by extending the duration of the event can double the opportunity to get leads.
Right.
And there's so many underused things that you could do with that elongated experience to make more revenue. And so there's obviously other solutions you can sell to exhibitors. I mean, if you go year round, of course, that is the huge opportunity to make a lot more revenue and to really change
Right.
the business model. But I would say it's not always easy to make that transition. We've been working with some customers, I think, who probably think it's just more about the technology. When really, I mean, doing what you do, if you want to really engage a community throughout the year, you've got to invest in content production and finding ways to. It's not just about having the tech.
No, time is the new currency and the
Yep.
most valuable currency, and that is what you're asking people for. And yet, a 2-day event
Mm-hmm.
that's over and doesn't happen again until next year is sort of not, doesn't feel right anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think I say this a lot. In the pandemic, I think the one thing I learned a lot was empathy for people in their natural habitat.
Mm.
Here, my kids are gone, my family's gone. You don't know where I come from. I got my suit on. Everything. I don't know if we'll ever go back to that. I saw people in their closets, in their bathroom, with their
Yep.
mailmen, with their kids, and it humanized
Mm.
things. And I think that 365 engagement, yes, we'll come together for our live event, but we'll get together as humans a lot.
Yes, yeah, and hopefully much more often. So there's no reason why you couldn't have. Yep, you've got your main annual event, say, but really you should be having different micro communities, different groups can be getting together. In various different like networking types of opportunities. Hosted buying is something which translates incredibly well to the virtual space. Like hosted buyer events don't have to just happen in a time and a place. You could arrange meaningful, curated one-to-one meetings with people throughout the year, and it's such an opportunity. There aren't that many people who are doing that or doing that well.
So riddle me this. So you've got this platform that is quite beautiful and attractive. There's this metaverse around the corner that people are talking about going into full immersion.
Yep.
Where do you feel like you sit on that continuum?
I think that as adoption increases, I think we're going to go increasingly down that kind of route. Where we're at the moment is use of sort of QR codes and trying to find ways to bring those digital touchpoints into the physical event. So on our platform, every time someone, whether that's an exhibitor or the organizer, uploads content or products or whatever it is, our system automatically generates QR codes. So we've been seeing some really interesting activations around events where organizers might set up product innovation zones, or exhibitors can have their catalogs, which you just and everyone can scan it with their smartphone and access it.
It's so smart because those walls, conference sessions were there, your exhibits were here,
Yep.
and we have to change that whole time and space continuum
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
virtual world. I mean,
And I think that's a start. That's so
Yeah.
just trying to like start to merge those two things, and then as people get more comfortable with like Oculus headsets or wherever it goes, then the technology can sort of
yeah.
keep up.
I certainly learned about QR codes during
Yes,
the
yeah,
pandemic.
yeah.
I mean, everybody from my 91-year-old mother down. I've seen babies in carriages now scanning QR codes, but we haven't, and NFTs. We're just learning. I mean, to take advantage of. An NFT is not just a JPEG. It is a smart contract that I can walk through an event like IMEX and actually gamify my experience here.
Yep.
With my NFT,
Mhm,
earning
mhm.
rewards as I go, and I don't think any of this is different than human behavior has always been. We always loved collectibles and things.
Yep,
and
yep.
It's just a new medium.
Yeah, and I think one of the interesting things I think about technology is that lots of this stuff, like the ideas, are probably all out there. It's just a question of timing. I mean, so there was like Second Life, for example, that became almost a cuss word, I think, in the events industry when Second Life fell out of favour. But then lots of the new like metaverse applications, they're not really that different to that. and
Yeah.
lots of this stuff. It's just a question of suddenly when does adoption hit that
Yeah, and
breaking
and
point?
and the pieces of the technology are there. I mean, the tech companies, we agree, have to stop talking about themselves and their tech capabilities and start to think about a more client-centric focus. Because when you start talking to a client here about their event tech stack, their eyes are just going to go, well, I
Yep,
mean,
yep.
it's really hard, and they're new jobs. I mean, look at the job descriptions now. UX designer, event tech,
Sure, sure.
event tech stack design, community builder.
Hmm.
There are so many exciting things that will take technology and I think humanize it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean that's again going back to the pandemic. That's been a huge acceleration within event organisers who are starting to take this stuff more seriously. Lots of the people we're dealing with now are job titles which you wouldn't have seen traditionally within an organizer, like product, product people or QA people, UX and UI, which particularly the larger organisers are now staffing up with those kind of digital roles. I think the question for me that raises though is how much of that should be down to where do you draw the line between what the organisers themselves do and what do the tech companies do? Because I think there are
Yeah.
interesting models of partnership, but what I often see as probably being a mistake would be if the organizer were going to say, oh, actually, we're just going to go ahead and we're going to start making our own apps and we're going to start doing this entirely.
Right. Or the tech company that says, here you go, sink or swim.
Yes, yeah. Both ways isn't good. So, I think the more that the organizer side that gets more tech savvy, more digital, then more interesting types of partnerships will emerge from it.
So, your typical client, well, first of all, your New York accent gives you away.
Thanks.
You're
Yeah,
based in
yeah.
the UK,
Yes, I am. Yeah.
and the company's based in the UK.
Yes.
But you do quite a bit of business in the US
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well, and
yes.
all over globally.
Absolutely, yes. So we're a very international company. So our head office is in the UK, but we've got offices in Europe, in India. We've got a team in North America too, North America and South America, and in sort of Southeast Asia as well. So we're trying as we're going. So we're not private equity funded. We've done the whole thing through bootstrapping. So as we grow, we're aiming to put people in the right location so we can better support our customers. But yeah,
Yeah.
North America for us is yeah, obviously it's a huge market and we're doing a lot of work here.
And you are one of the ones who really didn't have to go through the pain of layoffs and
Yes.
cutbacks.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's really to your credit, because the pandemic wasn't going to last forever, and people over in their zealousness, but I think some mistakes got made that will be corrected. So I think we're in this autocorrect mode. But I didn't ask you your title, and that was kind of dumb. So
Sure. Yeah, Chief Growth Officer is my title, and so that's my focus.
well, there's a new job as well. Right there.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, and if people want to find out about more about the product, it's ExpoPlatform.
Yep, ExpoPlatform.com. We don't only do expos, we also do associations and corporate events and things like that. But yeah, go to ExpoPlatform.com.
And I can tell you firsthand experience. I've been to the platform, done events there. It's kind of fun. It's not just painless. It's kind of fun. Like I've been in breakout sessions,
Yep,
in
yep.
smaller rooms, and it is really quite a lovely experience. So, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you
don't
very
have to nurse
much.
that drink anymore.
Yeah. I'll just neck it now. It's the end of the show. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.